Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Gemini July 2023 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. I'm Lauren. Hi, everyone, and welcome to all of you who are returning. Thank you so much for your continued support of my channel. And to those of you who are new, hi and welcome. So, Gemini, I know you're last this month, but definitely not least, I hope you all had a great birthday season last month. And we are going to be going ahead and starting your reading here by pulling some cards. We're going to look at first what you're bringing to the month. Then we're going to look at a theme that Spirit is asking you really to be aware of, as well as to embrace by the end of the month to help you overcome a challenge or a block so that you can invite in the abundance or the blessing that wants to come in for you this month. Okay, so Gemini, let's jump right in here. We have the Eight of Swords as your energy. And in your external environment, or for the theme of the month, we have the World, we have the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups. So right off the bat, Gemini, I'm getting a feeling that there's a little bit of either hesitancy or an inability to see the way forward. You're feeling a little trapped. And it might have something to do with the ending of a major cycle for yourself and the reevaluating of your personal story. And what do I mean by that? With the World, the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups coming in here, the World speaks to a ending of a major cycle in your experience. It speaks to that place where we get to pause, we get to celebrate having gone through that cycle. We get to take a look at all the lessons learned, and we get to get prepared for moving into the next new cycle. And with the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups coming in here, there is something to be said around really with the Queen of Swords, she speaks her truth, she understands her story, and she is able to really look back at all of the things she has gone through and been able to survive or been able to move through, and she gets to then tell a story around that. You know, it's like when you first meet someone and they ask a little bit about yourself, this is that part of ourselves that comes up, and it's how we share about our experiences. And then she also invites others to share theirs because she understands that her perspective is unique and that everyone has a story to tell. But with the Queen of Cups coming in on the other side of this, there is something to be said that I think for many of you, there is a lesson with this ending of a major cycle coming forward of learning to honor your what's in your cup. There's an element of really speaking to self-care. For some of you, this may be the story of getting to a place where you are highly in a state of, or are learning how to become highly compassionate, both towards yourself and towards others. Because the Queen of Cups speaks to Cancerian energy, which is the energy of the mother archetype in the tarot or in astrology. My apologies. She's the one who nurtures. She's the one, again, who brings unconditional love and compassion to both herself. She honors what's in her cup, which are her needs, her dreams, the things in her life that she needs to fulfill to be able to emotionally connect. But she does so for others as well. And so there's something here around, I think for some of you, there has been a major life decision that has taken place. This is your underlying energy, is the Two of Wands. So it's making that decision as to where do I go from here. And it does speak to sometimes a change in direction. Now, underneath that, we have the Knight of Swords and the Six of Wands. Beautiful energy because it speaks to a truth being shared and an element of recognition and success around a job well done or for some effort you have taken. Now, this could be applied to a myriad of things. This could sit there and say, you know, when we think about quickly sharing a truth or something along those lines where we are just saying, hey, this is what I need to say. This could be telling the world you've changed jobs and everybody's like, yay, you did such a good job at your current place. We're excited to see the change that you've made now. This could be sharing a truth about, hey, everybody, I've decided I'm going to become a parent and I'm leaving the workforce. And everybody's like, yay, good job. We're so excited to see what that entails for you. It can be even someone coming in and sharing a truth with you. This could be somebody coming in and saying, fantastic job, we want to give you a promotion, but it means you're going to have to move to a new sector of the company. And so in a way, you're getting recognition, but you're also making a choice to maybe move away from something that's been familiar for some time. But there's a sense here of coming in with a little bit of feeling trapped. Either A, you're feeling trapped, or with the Eight of Swords, this can be where there's almost this mental programming of, I'm not going to let myself see the way forward, or I'm not going to allow myself to kind of move forward because of I've set up something within my own mental programming to protect myself. So what do I mean by this? This can be where we have set ourselves up in a maze, as you can see here with these swords around her, and we've told ourselves at every turn that we can't do something to turn in the other direction. So we never actually ever get to explore the maze. We just kind of keep making the same maybe left turn until we get back, or the same right turn until we get back to the start. And this can be because we are fearful of maybe leaving a position we've been in for a long time, or we are fearful of leveling up in our experience, or we are fearful of just making a life change. And so there is something to be said where I think the key to unlocking a little bit of this, I can't quite see the way forward, or I'm still in a level of self-protection, and I know I've made a decision, but I'm not wanting to see how this is actually going to expand and help me grow. There's a feeling here of really embracing, again, the story of all that you've learned about yourself up to this point, and really bringing in a level of self-care as well into the next cycle. There may also be a truth for some of you around a mother figure in your life, or wanting to become a parent yourself, and that could make you feel a little trapped. That could be maybe you are feeling there's a truth around maybe a mother figure in your life that has been a little controlling, or that you might have to, maybe the choice here is having to take care of a parent in your life, and that might feel a little overwhelming. That can also speak to saying, I want to become a parent, and suddenly now it's a little difficult because you might have to learn how to juggle a new routine, or you're moving into, a leveling up in your work environment, and now it's like, well, how do I do both? So that these could be all themes coming up around this. But with the Queen of Swords at the center here, she knows her truth and she's able to speak to that. So there is something about this month of getting very clear as to, again, everything you've learned in this past cycle, everything you've learned about yourself, what you're capable of, and to apply that now in the next cycle to the energy of the mother. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to be a female or identify as a female. This means that the archetype of the mother is one of compassionate self-care and the self-care towards others, but there's also the honoring and the meeting of your own needs. So keep that in mind here as we move into this reading. We'll go ahead here, Gemini, and see what wants to come in. So we're going to look at a block or a challenge, or we look at advice from spirit, and then the blessing that wants to come in for you, or the level of abundance that's waiting to come in once you're able to kind of see past this block. Okay, so we have the Three of Wands. Now the Three of Wands is your main point of challenge, and it's interesting because the Three of Wands can really speak to our ships coming in, that we've taken action. You go from the Two, where you've decided to move in one direction, and the Three of Wands is where then we're waiting to see what comes back from that decision for ourselves. But sometimes it can become a block or a challenge when the opportunity that's come in is either not what we were expecting and we are not wanting to see it as a true opportunity, or it's one where we are stuck in the waiting period and we are just sitting there on the top of the mountain waiting for our ships to come in, and we're too afraid to go down. We don't, with the Eight of Swords, we don't see the way how to get down to the mountain to greet the ship and maybe pay for the goods we've ordered. There's something that can be said to that. Now with the Ace of Swords coming in after that, Ace of Swords is clarity. It's being given the gift of a new truth as well. I do get the feeling here for some of you, there is a feeling of, I made a choice and now what's come in might not be exactly, there's clarity coming in that wants to come in around an opportunity that's waiting to come in for you. And I think for some of you, if you look at the individual here, she's blindfolded in the Eight of Swords. She can't see what's coming in for her. She can't, this would be like sitting on top of the mountain saying, I'm waiting for my ships to come in, I'm watching the harbor, and yet you're telling this to somebody and you have a blindfold on and they're going to look at you and say, well, how are you going to know when your ships come in if you're not looking in the right direction or you're not willing to allow yourself to see? So underlying energy is temperance, which I love because temperance can speak to two things. It can speak to moderation. It can speak to balancing your emotions with how you choose to take action. So this is maybe entering a new cycle where the actions you take are based directly in your feelings and your emotional connection to that action that you want to take. But it also can speak to divine timing. There's the element of an angelic being. There's also the element of the number 14 that comes in, which really speaks to freedom through change and embracing that, and that this might be the time to really get into that energy. Now, I think for some of you, the clarity is really taking the blindfold off and looking at the opportunity that's come in for you and really seeing for yourself how this opportunity or what's coming in for you is meant for you based on the story of you that is based on the last cycle you've gone through. You see, she holds that Ace of Swords very prominently here. Now, the moon is at the heart of your reading. This is what Spirit is really asking you to embrace to help you move through this kind of waiting period of not wanting to see the opportunity to then on the other side really, I think, jumping into the new cycle. So the moon can speak to a lack of clarity. It can speak to the way is unclear. And that can be perhaps where some of you are sitting, where everything seems to have changed suddenly, and that may be a little scary because you are entering a new cycle. And when we think about it, when we have to close up one cycle and move into another, usually it denotes a sizable life change for ourselves. It can denote a career move. It can denote becoming a parent. It can denote moving to a new geographic location. It can just denote moving into a new phase of our life. We can be retiring. We could be getting married. We could be, fill in the blank. And this is saying embrace the unknown. If we went into every cycle understanding everything that was going to happen, well, that would be basically not living. We would just be waiting, right, for all those pieces to fall into line. The whole beauty of our life experience is kind of learning as we go, that we don't know what new miracle or what exciting new thing is around the next corner. And so it keeps us moving. And it keeps us from actually getting bored as well when we think about it. If we knew everything that was going to happen and we knew every result of every action we were going to take, well, then we might just sit back and not actually take any of them, because what would be the point? So keep that in mind here. There's something here around really embracing the unknown, embracing the clarity around a new opportunity that maybe you hadn't thought of before or can't quite understand how you're going to maybe make use of it. It can be something like you took the new career path, but you're not quite sure how you're going to change your routine to make this new job work. You're not sure if you're going to have the skill set. You're not sure if you're going to be able to work the amount of hours it's going to take. There's something around that here. And it's saying if you can embrace the unknown, and again, really get into the understanding of how much you've learned about yourself, how much you're capable of. On the other side of that, we have the Two of Pentacles and the Five of Wands. Now, the Two of Pentacles sometimes can speak to juggling. It can speak to needing to prioritize one thing over another in the moment, but it can also speak to just kind of keep doing what you're doing. And that's intuitively what I get a feeling here, Gemini, is keep doing what you're doing. This is almost like pay attention to the small things. And sometimes when we pay attention to the small things, the big things just fall into place. And that, I think, especially when we're starting with a new cycle, that's what this is saying. Just every day pay attention to the small things. Because on the other side of that, we have the Five of Wands. Now, the Five of Wands can sometimes be a card of chaos. It can be one where there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Everybody has a say. It can be one of sometimes healthy competition as well. For me, I can often see this as, especially when we've decided to change course, change direction, or make a decision to go, we've made a major decision to take action towards something where we have to leave something that we were already kind of grounded in previously. This can be now where you are going out there with your wand, with this decision, just to say, okay, I'm going to see what I'm capable of. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to join that networking group that helps people who are now in the new position that I'm in. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to join the new parent group to see what it's like to be a new parent, because I'm feeling a little trapped as far as, this could be like where some of you realized you've become a parent, and yet there's a feeling of being trapped because now your schedule or your routine has changed and now you're focused completely on someone else. And that can be, and I know from personal experience, I've gone through this myself, that can feel a little overwhelming of how am I going to deal with this? Was this really the opportunity that I was expecting? Now that can be also when we level up in a career, right? Where all of a sudden you realize, oh my gosh, I have so much more responsibility. Was this really what I was expecting? This is saying it's time to go out there and see. That's all we can do, right? All we can do is go out there with our wand and kind of jump into the mix and get a chance to maybe hear what other people, this could actually be where other people's input is actually beneficial to you. So it's kind of like saying, keep doing what you're doing, keep focusing on the day-to-day, and really focus as well in getting out there and kind of testing the new wand that's come in for you. Now I'm going to pull some clarifiers, so we're going to get a little deeper in here. The message may change a little bit based off of what comes in, but we will see. Okay, so let's see. Three of Wands. We have the Hermit. Yeah, it speaks to soul searching. I also get the feeling that whatever has come in for you is allowing you to really make use of your own inner light, what you uniquely shine out into the world. And sometimes that can be difficult for us to really embrace, especially if it's something that maybe we weren't expecting. And then we have Temperance and the Five of Pentacles coming in again. So Five of Pentacles can speak to a poverty mindset. It's one where we feel like we don't have enough, we'll never have enough, we don't have the support we'd like. And with Temperance coming in, it's saying there's time you can actually start to change this. It's time to temper this kind of fear around maybe not having enough or not having that support with your emotional experience. Because when we're too focused, the Five of Pentacles speaks to this in the physical, meaning, again, resources, time, energy, people, things that are actually in the physical for ourselves. And with Temperance coming in, I think there's an element here of kind of getting away from the physical and moving into, especially with the Queen of Cups coming in here, moving into a time of emotional connection as well as balancing your emotions with, again, your passions and how you choose to take action. And that moderation or that change in how you kind of mix the two together. As you can see, she's mixing the two. He's doing the same thing. And he looks almost like he's alchemizing it into something different. And I think for many of you, there's this feeling of really having to face a fear around a lack of support, face a fear around not having enough in the physical, and learning to embrace what you have uniquely to shine, and to have faith that is part of this. So, this could be like, or maybe you are being asked to move to a new location and you're like, oh my gosh, what if we lose out on this? What if we don't have enough money to make it happen? What if I move and, the new job doesn't work out? And this is saying that freedom through change, right? Temperance, freedom through change. I think that this new change and this new cycle is actually going to allow you to face the fear, do it anyways. There's a feeling here, Gemini, of face the fear and do it anyways, because it's going to lead to clarity. Even though the way is unknown, it's going to lead to clarity, and it's going to lead to a start of a new cycle that I feel is going to honor, again, this inner compassionate, self-caring aspect of yourself, whether this is literally to become a parent yourself or to become nurturing to others in your life, to free you up maybe to have more time to do that. But there's something here on this next cycle that's really going to be focused on compassion, nurturing, and honoring your self needs. Now, with the Ace of Swords, the clarity coming in here is the Eight of Cups. What no longer emotionally supports you, what you must walk away from. Okay, yeah, 2 cups and the Devil. So with the Eight of Cups, I always get the feeling that the individual is pulling one of their cups, basically the 9th cup, and going out in search of the 10th cup, which is the 2 of Cups represented here. It's almost the realization of we can pour ourselves into, let's say, making a home an amazing experience. But ultimately, if we can't connect that home with if there's nobody to live in that home with us, and there's nobody to share in all that we've done with decorating the place, or there's no one to share in the amazing food that we cook in that kitchen, well, that home becomes then the devil instead of the blessing of the lovers, which it had originally been something we loved. And so there's something here around the realization with an opportunity coming in of where something that you once loved has become something that has now holding you back and is no longer emotionally supportive. And it's time to go out into the world to connect with others again, to either open yourself up to connecting, meaning maybe this is something along the lines of, I'm going to make a move to a new location that is closer to family and friends because I now realize it's not the stuff, it's the connection. Or I'm going to move jobs because the career path that I originally loved is no longer emotionally supportive, and I need to connect in a new way that's more authentic to me in the workplace. So there's a clarity coming in here very much around something in your life that is no longer supportive, that you did emotionally invest a lot of yourself into, but it's in an effort to connect in a more authentic way, or to connect something in your life to others where maybe you hadn't been open to connection previously. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the moon. What does Gemini need to know about the moon? So we have the 6 of Coins, which speaks to, when this card comes up, especially with the moon, this is a reminder that there is a law of divine balance in our experience. And the 6 of Pentacles is that reminder in the physical that what we put in, it will be returned to us. It may not be in the immediate moment, but down the line, if we are patient and we have faith in that law of divine balance and divine justice, It will happen. And you go from the 5 to the 6, which is feeling like you don't have enough, to feeling like everything is balanced out and there is enough. So right now I feel like you're being told two things with this card coming in. You have enough. You have enough to make this change. And the change in and of itself will actually reap a reward that will come back. So you may be feeling like, I've put time and effort into something, I didn't actually get a return on the investment I was seeking. And this is saying it will come down the line. Have faith. The moon can actually speak to, can you walk this path on faith? And if you can, this is that reminder of what you put in will be returned. Now we have Knight of Wands and Two of Swords. Yeah, there's an element here of not wanting to make the decision. There's a decision here coming through of, do I do something to free myself, to go out there and have fun and work with my passions? Or do I stay stuck in where I've been because I'm not allowing myself to see this new opportunity coming in? I'm not allowing myself, or I'm being too afraid to take the opportunity because of what I might lose in the physical. And for many of you, it's saying this is giving you that kind of confidence boost of your bravery in facing the new and in facing that chance of lack will ultimately give you the return on your investment and free you at the same time. Again, freedom through change. Keep that. That should be your motto for the month of July. Keep that in mind. Freedom through change, Gemini. Okay, so we have the Two of Pentacles. Let's see what Gemini needs to know about the Two of Pentacles. What does Gemini need to know about the Two of Pentacles? Okay, we have, there's the Ace of Swords. So there's the clarity again coming in over here around, I think, the day-to-day. Oh, let's do that again. That's a little messy. Let's see if anything else wants to come in. There's a clarity coming in around looking at your day-to-day experience. Oh, there's the Five of Wands again. There it is. Okay, so that didn't really change much of this meaning here. But there's a clarity around where maybe you've been holding yourself back from kind of getting back out into the fray, so to speak, or getting back out on the horse. There can also be an element too of realization where there's been a level of some kind of chaos or a level of just discord in your experience based on the fact that you are not willing to face the devil, that you're not willing in your life. You're not willing to face that one aspect of your experience that really is asking to be released, that you need to free yourself from, meaning that this can be where we're just focused on the day-to-day, and yet we are realizing, gosh, things are getting so stressful and so chaotic, and it's because you are no longer emotionally tied to your work environment. And so every time you go into your work environment, it just feels stressful and chaotic and frustrating. Or this can be where it's time to make a geographic move to a new location. And you're just getting more and more frustrated with the traffic with where you live. And you're getting more frustrated with the house because no matter what you do to it, something keeps breaking. You know, there's something along those lines where the realization is, aha, I need to leave my job. That's what's causing the element of chaos in my life. Or, aha, I realize I need to leave this house or this location because it's no longer what it had been for me. So keep that in mind as you pay attention to your day-to-day. This might be that signal of where the change needs to occur. Because where something, maybe where your routine used to work out and you used to be able to juggle everything, now it's getting to the point where you're like, I don't want to juggle this, or it's getting overwhelming. Or it's bringing a level of chaos even between you and somebody else. Okay, and then for the Five of Swords, we have the Knight of Swords. So here's the Knight of Swords again coming in. So this could be actually where the truth has been spoken, something along those lines where this is saying, it's too much. It's too much for me, and it's time to go. Do you want it, it'd be like saying, going to your partner and saying, I can't keep doing this job because it's just too much for me. And your partner saying, well, I fully support you in that. Let's get you back out there. And there's the Queen of Swords. You have the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Swords, and here she is. So yes, this is speaking to your story. This is saying, I've learned that about myself. I don't like this kind of environment after being in it for so long. And the truth of my story is for me to honor in the next career move I make, the need I need to have met is that I can't work 60 hours a week, or I can't be face to face with people in a customer service setting anymore, or I can't, be the breadwinner and the parent. I can, whatever it comes down to. This can also be where you just want a slower pace of life. You realize, I used to love a busy pace. I survived all of that. But in this next cycle, the truth is what's really holding me back is the pace of life that I've lived, or that we are living now where we are. Something along those lines where it's really being honest with yourself. And then out comes the King of Wands. Woohoo! Now, I can definitely tell you from my own experience. Now, I have a lot of Gemini in my chart. I actually have a Gemini as my Mercury placement, and I have Gemini in my Venus, or my Venus in Gemini. So I tend to communicate and experience the world very much like a Gemini. And I can tell you, I have gone through a couple periods like this in my life that were very pivotal, end of chapter, end of life cycle kind of points where it's like, I can no longer work in that type of work environment. Okay, lesson learned. Now, what is the choice I have to make, and how do I extricate myself from where I am? Things like that. And with the King of Wands coming in, this is the person who leads from a place of passion. This is the person who understands that life is really meant to be lived. Our passion is meant to be lived into life. And coming into this king status, for some of you, this could be actually that you're moving into you could be moving into a role that has quite a bit more responsibility, or you could be moving into something that is really going to honor what you're passionate about and how you can take leadership based on that. There's a feeling here of kind of leading through the fear. And it's a beautiful one. And it's one for many of you that maybe this next cycle might actually see you owning your own business, moving up into a high level kind of management status, again, a leadership role. This could be one where you even maybe take on kind of like a matriarchal or a patriarchal role in your own family. Like there's something along those lines. So keep that in mind, Gemini. There's an element of leveling up in this next cycle for you. So I'm going to go ahead here and pull a energy oracle card to get a little more info as to the energy of what you can expect for the month of July. What does Gemini need to know about the month of July? What does Gemini need to know about the month of July? I like the cards to come out authentically, so sometimes the shuffling takes a little bit longer. My apologies. My daughter would be very impatient. I laugh because her name is Rose, but I sometimes feel like we should have called her Impatient instead. All right, so We have woman holding a coin, number 42. Now, this card really brings in the energy of both the Queen of Pentacles along with the Queen of Wands in the tarot. Because you can see there's the black cat that comes from the Queen of Wands, this very fiery kind of witch archetype, the magic, using our passion as magic in our life. And then she's also holding the coin. So there's a feeling of nurturing something into existence in the real life, bringing in, again, that mother archetype, someone who is patiently nurturing something, patiently helping something to grow, the seed that is the coin. Number 42 breaks down to the number 6. The number 6 is the energy of love. It's also, for me personally, my relationship to this number is what you can build when you build from the energy of love, self-love, and love for others. And so there is a feeling here of really bringing both into balance within yourself, really getting into that place of understanding kind of the divine feminine of how you can not only nurture yourself, but through that nurturing of yourself, nurturing other things, new opportunities into much more. There's also the feeling with, again, the Queen of Wands coming in here of blooming where you're planted, and understanding that the magic in our life comes from what we're passionate about and how courageous we are in taking action based from those passions or that passion. Okay, let's go ahead here and see. I'm going to get a couple more clarifiers here just to see if there's another message that wants to come through. But I do get the feeling that you really kind of hold the power here. Okay, so we have King of Swords and King of Wands. Very interesting. These could actually be two individuals in your life. King of Swords is Aquarian energy. King of Wands is Leo energy. So you may have someone who embodies this energy in your life. You could have other people around you who might be helping you get to this kind of new leveling up experience in your life. But on a general level, the King of Swords speaks to, I know what I know. He is someone who is very fair and balanced in his judgments and decision making because he has a strong grasp of his own knowledge. There's a feeling of understanding wisdom, and he can impart a very fair and balanced view. And with the King of Wands, this is the individual who really embodies that, again, that kind of lion-hearted, courageous, passionate individual who leads, who doesn't hide their passion. They lead from what they're passionate about. So this could be really getting to that place of to give yourself the confidence with the Queen of Swords, to give yourself that confidence to really use your magic, which is your passion, and also getting into that kind of divine nurturing energy of really understanding, being clear on what you know, being clear as to what you've learned and what you can now turn into wisdom in this next cycle, and how you can lead from what you're passionate about. So this is like saying, I'm firm and confident that I know what I know. And the King of Wands says, and I'm going to show what I'm passionate about up front and center fearlessly as I go into the new. And for those of you where this is going into the new, let's say into owning your own business or leveling up into a leadership role within your own life, this says that this just speaks to nothing but confidence. So it's a very positive energy there. But these could also be two individuals in your life too. This could be someone who is a strong, fair advisor and someone who could be the business owner. This could be like the CEO of their own company who comes in and says, hey, I'd love for you to join me. Would you like to do that? And you're sitting here going, I need to get some advice from someone. And the person says, yeah, go ahead, do so. This could also embody one individual who really does embody both of those aspects. They are very clear-headed, very decisive in their actions, but they also maybe run their own business or are highly passionate in what they do. Okay, Gemini, we have surrender your addictions. It says, whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking, take action to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with healthier alternatives. Now, this card, when it comes up, the first thing people think of when you think of addictions is like automatically drugs or alcohol abuse. But often this can really speak to an addiction to a way of being, meaning you are the overworker. You're the person who has to have every single minute of every single day planned. And if you're not working 60 to 80 hours a week, then you don't feel like you're living, or you don't feel like you're getting enough or you're doing enough. And this could be saying that in this next cycle, especially focused around one of self-nurturing and the nurturing of others, this could say maybe it's time to look at where you have been pushing yourself. And if there's a change coming in here, how can you change your routine to maybe not feel so chaotic or competitive? This can also be where if it is a substance, maybe you've long been kind of falling back on that substance to help you through kind of the stress and the chaos, be that overeating, be that drinking too much. We all go through periods where we fall back on something at some point in our life when times get chaotic or rough or just feel frustrating and stressful. And so this is saying to really look at, as you move into the next cycle, that's really all about self-care and nurturing, and you're choosing this new path, to really see how now you might not need that addiction, or you might not need to continue using something in as part of your routine. I mean, this could even be like over exercising, where you've pushed yourself to look a certain way, or you've pushed yourself to every day go to the gym for 3 hours because you need, something along those lines. And it's like, well, maybe in this next cycle, you can maybe find new ways. Instead of going to the gym for 3 hours, maybe you slow down in a certain way and you build in 1 hour to, hike out in nature, and 1 hour to go for a walk with your grandchildren. There's something along those lines, or maybe now there's just a change, or you build in some time for yoga and meditation instead of like your high impact, boot camp workout. But there is something to be said about just looking at whatever. I often look at it as when we're moving as individuals towards the end of one cycle and moving into the next, it's almost like towards the end, we have to put on training wheels. And then we're all of a sudden asked to take them off because we had to put on those training wheels at a certain point just to kind of help us keep going, because we got exhausted in going through that full cycle. It's not even like we had the training wheels on from the beginning. It's like we start the beginning on the big kid bike and we're going and we're going and we're going, and all of a sudden we hit that hill and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't even make it to the top. I'm wobbly. Things are getting crazy. And somebody comes in and says, hey, here, let's put on the training wheels again. Let's get you stable. Let's just get it so you can get to the top. And so you're like, okay, all right, I'm almost there. And then when you finally get to that point where it's like, I just can't do this anymore, you finally hit the top of that hill, you kind of plateau. And then suddenly someone comes in and says, okay, you need to take those training wheels off and go down the hill super fast. And you're like, wait, what? I don't know if I can do this. I could barely make it up the hill. I need to rest. I need to keep these training wheels on. And that's where a toxic addiction or a habit can become to that point where now it's like, okay, no, you're ready for those training wheels to come off, because they're only going to hinder you and the speed and the fluidity and the flow that you're going to experience as you go down that next hill and into that next much easier start to the cycle. So I'm going to pull a final card here, and we will see what wants to come up for you. And I'm going to read the little description of the card that comes in the book with this oracle text. So you get a little extra message that doesn't come just directly from me. Oh, I love this card. Okay, so it says, this is also number 42, which is very interesting. This says a lot. Again, 42 and 42. So really bringing in that number of the 6. Also speaks to the 42 is the number 4, and the number 2 speaks to building firm foundations, which is the number 4, through hard work. And number 2 is the connecting with others. So this is building new firm foundations around intimate and authentic connection with others. And it says 5th ray of intellectual knowledge. So let's go ahead and read the little excerpt here. Okay. It says the 5th ray of intellectual knowledge has come to you as a spiritual gift. You are being given the ability to find information you need, understand systems that impact your life, and find clarity in any issue that has seemed unclear or overwhelming. You shall sort the truth from the lies and learn what you need to know. And that is absolutely the Ace of Swords coming in on top of your own energy of the 8 of Swords. So there's been this lack of clarity. Things have seemed overwhelming, unclear, and here comes this insight this month. Or maybe this insight has already come in and you are now at this point in July of moving through the change, of really honoring the decision you've made and what's coming in for you. It says the Archangel Raphael now assists you in integrating the blessings of the 5th ray. You are distilling a new truth. It might be the truth of discernment, where you realize the appearance of a person, group, or cause is misleadingly different to the inner reality. Discernment is incredibly important on the spiritual path, all the more so as you open up to work with energies, with teachers and teachings, and to sort out all issues in your life according to your spiritual principles. Discernment is not judgment, but it does allow you to make informed decisions based on frequency. When you choose to associate with people who are on a higher frequency, everyone benefits. If you choose to associate with people on a lower frequency than your own, you may feel your life moving more slowly, becoming harder than it needs to be. I like this because it really does speak to using that discernment to really see what it's time to move away from, that 8 of Cups. It says, discernment helps you navigate through illusions and find the real gems. It helps you step back from those who say they want to support you, but who actually just want to take and not give in return. The 5th ray helps you choose wisely and sever unhealthy connections. This ray also comes to you when there's more to something than meets the eye. You will be given the power to discover and understand the truth. Wait until the truth clicks inside you. Until then, keep looking deeper until you unravel the mystery. The 5th ray will help you do so successfully. Okay, I will leave it there. Actually, you know what? I just saw I'm going to read the challenge as well. It says, the challenge with the 5th ray is to remain open-minded as you find your clarity. Be willing to find more information if you need it. The right answers will come. Be willing to change your viewpoint in order to perceive the truth of the matter. If a system is working for you, that's great. If it needs to be changed, don't be afraid to go into the chaos of creativity and try different ways until you discover what will work better for you now. I like that open-mindedness because there's something around that with, again, that preliminary challenge here of an opportunity coming in for change and the realization as to how this is the opportunity to move away from chaos. You might have to feel like you're diving a little bit more into the chaos to extricate yourself from something that is no longer working for you, but ultimately you'll see the beauty of the opportunity. And again, maybe a change in your own truth and perspective after having gone through a cycle where maybe your focus was, let's say, on the work life, and now in this next cycle, your focus is on family, or it could be the total opposite. So really keep that in mind. But there is something here. I like that it's the 5th ray of intellectual knowledge because Gemini, your motto in the world of astrology is I think. So you really do live in the world of thoughts. You are someone who, again, you have a very quick mind, can be very analytical. And there's a feeling here of really being able to capitalize on that superpower that you have. And and I like, you see this picture, it's like the individual is shining, radiating. And that can sometimes, when you see here other individuals who are not at the same frequency, who are not in the same place, that can be very difficult for other people around you who, again, are maybe not making the same level of a change. It might make you realize that maybe you no longer are on the same wavelength as them. This can be where all of a sudden, maybe certain people are not applauding the leveling up in your life, and that's okay. Everyone is on their own path, but don't be afraid to shine as yourself in this new cycle, and to shine from a place of, again, self-care and honoring your needs and your dreams and your wants, and then being able to also share that with others. All right, I will leave it there, Gemini. I hope you all have a wonderful month of July. It's definitely seeming to be one that is on a track to be incredibly liberating for you, and one that is going to really, I think, bring this wave of fresh energy to yourself. And I do get the feeling just intuitively it'll be one that is much more smooth sailing than the last cycle for yourself. All right, I will leave it there. If you'd like to book a personal reading to illuminate something in your life that you would like to have better clarity in or around, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all next month for next illumination reading. Bye, Gemini.